Okay, welcome everyone. Waiting for other people to join in. Today we're talking about Elevate mentoring programs with software designed to develop. Me, Iyad Yacoub, and my teammate Matt Hildenbrand. So, hi Matt.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going great. Beautiful sunny California. So awesome. All right. So waiting for other people to join. Um, awesome. Okay. All right. So, what is the nice thing that happened for you today, Matt?
I'm sorry, what was that? You kind of cut out for me for a second.
What is one thing that the nice thing that happened for you today? Like something nice that
Nice, something nice has
this
happened.
morning.
Um, I mean, it's pretty nice weather today. It's chilly, but it's not snowing. It was potentially supposed to snow here, which I enjoy the winter, but I think I want a couple more days of fall. So enjoying the
Nice.
sunshine while it's still here.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in Bend, right?
I'm
Oregon.
in Bend, Oregon. Yeah, correct. Yep.
I'm in Walnut Creek, California. So not too far from you. Maybe. Cool. All right. So let's wait for one more minute, see what if others are joining, and yeah, we can kick it off. So welcome everyone. We have yeah, great people joining here. All right. So if you want to put in the chat where you zooming in from, and what is one thing you would like to get out of this conversation, so we can try to customize as we go. All right. So we can move forward. We have 30 minutes. We're gonna have the what, the why, and the how of dynamic leadership development and how mentoring as a module in a platform could help you solve for leadership development. All right. Hi, Alex, New York. Nice. All right. So we can move forward and let's kick it off. So let's start with the kind of big picture here. So I call it the inverted pyramid. It's not a pyramid, but it's like, yeah, it's like you start from the top is what I usually start with everything basically say why we're doing what we're doing. So our mission at Sounding Board is to develop dynamic leaders. And dynamic leaders are needed today more than ever because we live in a world where rigid methods and traditional ways of solving problems are not helpful. We live in this what we call the VUCA world, the volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world where a lot of problems are new problems and more complex problems. So we need new methods, and dynamic leadership is our way to solve for today's workplace problems that are unexpected and ambiguous. To do that, we want to have more a holistic approach rather than one dimensional intervention. So we basically embarked on this journey to build a suite of offerings and services and technology and behavioral science and everything in between to solve for dynamic leadership.
Very
and
dynamic.
and I'm exactly. So you can't use a rigid method to solve for a dynamic, mission or achieve a mission. So we call dynamic leadership or leader development suite, which means if you double click on the word dynamic, hardly we double click anymore. I still use double click since Microsoft Windows, but
It
sometimes it's a one click.
still exists, I think.
So yeah, yeah. So zooming in or double clicking, we have a suite of services and technologies and modules, and our approach basically really is dynamic. We're not saying one thing is better than the other ones, but basically we're thinking about it as instead of thinking about mentoring versus coaching or on-demand coaching is better than one-on-one coaching or group coaching is better than something, we think about them as a toolbox where you use the right tool for the right purpose. You can use one tool for one purpose, or you can multiple tools at the same time. All depends on the context. We're very contextual. That's why we feel that the today's workplace is about dynamic. You could use mentoring in one situation that might not work for another situation. Same thing with coaching. But for today's conversation, we're only focusing on the mentoring module in our dynamic leader development suite. And Matt and I will walk you through this journey of the of the what and the how, and we'll have questions as they come in, and we're going to also have time for questions at the end of the conversation. All right,
Awesome.
so moving forward, thank you. All right, so why mentoring matters today? Again, we live in a world right now where change is the constant thing more than ever, and using traditional things. Mentoring is about, and we're going to talk about in a second as well, what exactly mentoring and what is our point of view about mentoring. But for development, for tackling workplace problems, mentoring isn't the antidote for a lot of issues happening, either responsively or proactively. And there is a new way of mentoring. Mentoring is what we call the jingle jangle problem, could mean different things to different people. So in some situations, mentoring means something, but in other situations means something else. So we're going to dig deeper and to understand how you actually do that from a technology perspective, but also from a process lens as well. So moving forward, we're going to ask you a question. Since we know mentoring means different things to different people, and the why behind it is different sometimes. So why are you implementing or considering mentoring in your organization? If you can put in the chat, if you're already doing mentoring, why you're doing mentoring, and if you're considering doing mentoring, why you're considering mentoring. So maybe one word, one sentence, whatever you want. What exactly happening in your organization that you thought about mentoring might be the solution for some of the problems? All right, waiting for other people to chime in. Matt, maybe I can ask you, you're an
Yeah.
engineering leader and you're also building the platform, but also you're an engineering leader. Why
Yes.
would you consider mentoring from a lens of leadership development for your team?
Yeah, good question. So for me, like, I've actually been pretty fortunate to have some pretty good mentors throughout my career. They just happened organically within the organization. Maybe I just became good friends and they became colleagues and became mentors. And so having a tool like this that maybe would have opened it up to more individuals within my organization, but would have been invaluable for me to maybe extend that reach, or if there are mentors out there that want to be connected with someone like me that didn't know about me because we worked on the other side of the country or whatever, our suite can kind of help connect those people to find the correct mentors, or find people that are very like-minded and maybe be valuable to help you in your personal professional journey. So
Wow, wow. So, wow, amazing. So growing kind of early career professionals and exchanging information value. This is awesome. Nice. We have Robin here. So new administrators need a mentor outside their immediate work situations. Amazing. Learning about the invisible ways of getting things done. Oh my gosh, nice. And considering adding a formal mentoring program for frontline staff, healthcare. So we see different perspectives. If you see here like this, basically exactly what we're talking about. Mentoring means different things and getting different perspectives and learning opportunities. Yeah, amazing. Cool. All right. Well, moving forward. So you're here, probably you have an idea or you have in-depth understanding of why mentoring and sometimes how mentoring could be different from other interventions or learning interventions in the workplace. Without digging deep, this is not about going through kind of educating on the differences, but just in simple words, the way I see mentoring is more pouring in, more downloading information, sharing experience, guidance, and advice. And when it comes to coaching, which is a lot of people sometimes use them interchangeably, coaching is more pulling out. It's about triggering ways of thinking and mindset and impacting behavior in a sustainable way. That doesn't mean that mentoring doesn't borrow some aspects of coaching, and coaching doesn't borrow some aspects of mentoring. You can share your experience as a coach, and also you can use empowering questions as a mentor. But for today's conversation, the way we think about mentoring as a module is separate from coaching, and we're not thinking about coaching versus mentoring. Again, coaching and mentoring could work together, they coexist.
Mhm.
And for this conversation today, we're talking about the mentoring module and how you can use it in a way that could help you and make it more effective in your context. So I'm gonna hand it over to my friend Matt to talk about how we actually build this module and how it's gonna solve for your leadership development needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Iyad. If we want to go to the next slide, this is kind of perfect. So there's a little bit of data kind of around mentoring and some of the metrics of why it's valuable and how our platform can help hopefully achieve some of these numbers for other people in their organizations. Um, Next slide, please. So this should be, now we're kind of showing you what you would see if you were a user landing onto the platform for the first time. So very high level, the way our leadership and development platform works is it's programmatic. So we support multiple different types of leadership development programs. Iyad's mentioned before, one-on-one group coaching, and today we're focusing on mentoring. As a part of every individual's onboarding, when you create an account within the platform, you are directed through a onboarding experience that is required by everybody. Part of that experience is your very high level personal information, first name, last name, email, as well as what we have is a proprietary work style assessment. That comes into, it'll be important later, but essentially it's kind of like a very high level, it's a test to kind of gauge your work style, who you are as a person, so we can help kind of inform and match you with potential mentors that are looking for mentees. So imagine you've gone through that onboarding and you land on the dashboard. You're given a choice. In this example, we're showing you the self-enrollment flow. So you can opt to either be a mentor or a mentee. And when you do that, you're taken to a very brief flow where you create your mentor or mentee profile. This is different from the questions that we ask during onboarding because they're specific to the mentoring experience module that we've built within the system. These are kind of high-level tools and metrics that we use to help filter and help inform mentors and mentees that might be looking for each other. And so we can accurately match and assign each other to successful mentorships. Next slide, please. Here is what you'll see after you enroll as a mentor, or sorry, as a mentee. So in this flow, imagine I've went through the previous flow. I've selected to be a mentee. At this juncture, our system will go through and look at all the mentors that have already enrolled within the system, and we will automatically, as you can see at the very top there, recommend mentors. Going back to what I said earlier about the initial onboarding experience, we use data from the work style assessment as well as other data such as location, time zone, to automatically recommend a mentor that we feel would be a good fit for you. You can opt to choose to select one of those users as a mentor, or as you see further down the screen, there are more robust filter methods. So you can search by name or keyword or department or other types of metrics that are part of the mentor profiles that you complete when you're onboarding. Yeah, next slide. What I was describing previously was the kind of self-enrollment method. So what you can do in the system is have kind of one open program where anybody can enroll as a mentor or a mentee, or both. You could, if you want to, be a mentor and a mentee in the same program and kind of have the ability to have all kinds of different engagements. But if you want to instead administer mentoring in a more prescribed way, we have the ability to kind of set a program where you can predefine a pool of mentors for your mentees to select from. So it's not, so in the case where you may not want your whole org to have the ability to become a mentor within a program, you can assign them and mentor program, and then only the select users will be available as mentors to mentees within the system. Next slide. Oh, sorry. Yeah, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, can you have multiple mentors at the same time, you said?
You can be a mentor to multiple mentees. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, as a part of the mentor profile, you can define the max number of mentees that you may want to have at one point. Obviously, it's not very tenable to have, say, 100 mentees assigned to you. It's not something one single person can do, but you might want to have several, a handful, if you have the capacity or desire to do so. The way the system works right now, you could technically, as a mentee, have multiple mentors, but it's recommended generally that a mentee probably has one mentor. But you could be a mentee and be mentoring multiple people too. So it's flexible in that regard. You can kind of have all kinds of different combinations there. It's a very good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So kind of putting them both together. So I talked about the open enrollment flow and then admin driven. This is just kind of showing them side by side. So again, if you opt in to have open enrollment, you'll have one big program where anybody could become a mentor. All those mentors are available in a giant pool of users that mentees can select from. Or you can whittle it down and really be prescriptive about the users that you want to be mentors in your system. You can also match them by yourself if you want to as admin. So we have the ability to add the users as mentors to a program, and then mentees can then still self-select within that program. Or if you want to, or if people have already matched themselves up with a mentor in a previous engagement, and you want to continue using our software to manage those engagements moving forward, you can match them here, and they can just kind of continue their mentoring engagements and use our suite of tools to help inform them and manage those moving forward.
Nice.
Next slide. And yeah, kind of wrapping up the module and how we're talking about today, a big key portion of not just mentoring and how we look at leadership development, but just learning in general is our leadership roadmap. And so this is a tool that's available to everybody within the software, whether you're using mentoring alone or one-on-one alone or a combination of all of those things. It's kind of like the kind of core of how we track and engage within the system. And so I think Eod, if you want to kind of touch base and kind of provide a little more context on the leadership roadmap.
Absolutely. I was actually thrilled that we are considering the leadership development program, not leadership roadmap, is as part of our leadership philosophy in general. Is that big? First, for two reasons. One, we're not looking at leadership development as a like an open-ended journey, and also it's an infinite game. Yes, you always can develop as a leader, but at the same time you need to have this structured approach to measure your development. And the main reason we have a leadership roadmap in the suite and the platform is to actually see how you're growing as a leader, and you bring that self-awareness and embark on a journey of focusing on a specific capability when you are with a coach or with a mentor, or pretty much with anybody who is part of your ecosystem of growth, right? So leadership development or leadership roadmap is about documenting and highlighting your growth, whether from an insight perspective or behaviors, actions, and also measure the impact of your growth. It's not only from seeing growth as a grow mode that is not connecting to your go mode, or it's just accountability and action orientation, but also think about it from how I'm growing as a person, how my perspective and ways of thinking are changing over time. So that this is not only for coaching or for mentoring, is for everything. And as a mentee or as a mentor, you can actually see this growth over time. And once you look at it from that perspective, that would give you first more motivation to grow. Second, it will give you more power to tell the story of your growth, whether internally or externally.
Love it. It's awesome. Thank you. Next slide. So this, as a part of the admin suite of tools, like I explained earlier, you can have one single open enrollment program where everyone, mentor mentees, can match to. You can have multiple mentor assigned programs, so you can control and define and restrict who you want to be matched with each other. And if you want to be able to understand like how effective some of those programs are versus the other, or how effective just the mentoring programs and engagements are working in general, we have a suite of analytics tools that kind of that kind of help paint the picture of what's happening within the system. Like some of the key metrics here that we provide are onboarding status to see if people are matching in a timely manner, or if they're getting caught up with trying to connect with a mentor. survey completion. So something that we didn't go into today, but we have the ability to attach surveys to different key points within engagement, so you can track the status and track progress outside of the learning leadership development leader roadmap. And then distribution of departments for mentors and mentees and top mentor specialities. So you can kind of see like which mentors are getting requested the most. So you might be able to be informed of, oh, maybe we should try to get more people with these types of skill sets in the systems because our mentees are looking for these types of people. Things like that can be very valuable to understand the needs for your organization. Next slide. Yeah, so kind of zooming out here, we talked today specifically about the mentoring module within the Sounding Board platform. But as we alluded to, there are multiple modules that can all work in harmony with each other. It's a very programmatic system that we have developed. And so here's an example of when you go to create a program, if you had the capabilities within your system, you can choose between creating a one-on-one or group, on-demand, or mentoring. And you can mix and match these together, and users can be enrolled in all of these, and they all kind of bubble up, circling back to the leadership roadmap as a way to kind of track the progress within these engagements and within the leadership journey. Iyad, anything to add here?
Yeah, well, I have a question and a comment, so maybe I'll start with the question. So
Yeah.
I can be a mentor, I can be a mentee, and also I can be a coachee in the system at the same time.
That's correct. Yes, we support that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and so basically, what if someone's trying to it's like, let's say I'm a leader at a company X and I would like to be a mentor, and I can go and either I do it myself or the a program manager can enroll me in the pro, right? So this is awesome. Yeah, I find that this is very some could be confusing in some areas where it's like, yeah, or I want to log in, should I use a different username and password? But it's more like a one-stop shop, one platform for everything. And I know if I want to coach or I want to be a coachee, I can see where the tab for that. And okay, nice. This is awesome.
Cool. Next slide. All right, yeah, I think we kind of want to wrap up discussing, like we said, we had all these different services and these different modules that can work in combination or individually. And this is kind of an example of how these different suites can be combined together in these different offerings that we have here today.
Absolutely. Yeah, but so we have the option either to use guide is only for if just tech-enabled sounding board coaches, if you want to use our coaches. Expand is using the platform without using the coaches, and transform if you want to use both. So mentoring, you can either the expand or the transform because you're using the platform here. So you have the option either to do it with, okay, again, coexisting with coaching, or you just use it for mentoring only. You turn off and turn on what you want based on your needs. And if your needs change from a quarter to a quarter, you can always, it's a your one feature off and on away from doing that. So I love the flexibility here. Awesome, awesome. So we have some questions in the Q&A and in the chat. One question here is, does this program provide training for potential mentors?
Currently, it doesn't really provide training in the sense that like the software, when you guide you through like creating a mentor profile or creating sessions, and it's more of a tool to help people get connected in that sense. Now, however, the software, and there's a lot of bit of the software that we did not have enough time to go into today. But there are tools that we have. One of the tools is called the Curated Resource Library, where admins or coaches or anybody with the capacity to add different types of resources can add, say, mentoring resources or other tools into the library, and that can be shared with people that are enrolling as a mentor within the platform. So that's one way we can solve for that today. So yeah.
Great question. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and then we can answer them. One question that came to mind here just right now is, where do you see the platform growing into? Like, what would be the future for a mentoring module in our leadership development suite?
It's a good question. I think as we get more users in the system and kind of understanding the need, that will become more clear. But really the main goal of any kind of software is to empower people to be more effective at what they do, right? We want to eliminate any barriers when it comes to maybe connecting with people or aligning on, scheduling, or just in general making the whole experience of coaching, mentoring, whatever it is we offer in our system easier. And so to that end, we're definitely looking at enhancing the user experience. Things that might take like several clicks today or may not be evident, like more clear and user friendly, and just making it an experience where you want to come to and be a part of, like, one of those sites that is just a standard site that you like to visit every day to help, motivate you and keep you going on your leadership journey.
Nice, nice. I love the word journey because it is a journey. Sometimes you want to do something and you want to do something else, right? Can you use this software to support different use cases, including like DNI, new managers, variety of programs, or how do you think about supporting different use cases? Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Well, we actually do support that today. So the way we support that, again, not going into the details of how these different systems work, but our platform's programmatic. So I mentioned that you can, as an admin, self-assign like mentors within a program. And so how we would handle that today is you might have, say, a specific group of, if you want to have engineers only be assigned to engineering type mentors, then you would prescriptively assign those users within the program. And that way it will limit the pool of access of what mentees would be able to choose from. And you can have several different programs or any kind of different verticals or industries that you might want to target. That's helpful because it eliminates the burden of a mentee to be able to select. It might be overwhelmed if there's tons of different things to choose from. So it limits that mental capacity for them so they can be focused on the higher level things they want. But also it helps from a data perspective. I touched base on the analytics. It provides a more robust reporting suite because you have kind of that data already segmented. So you can break it down even more to kind of see where things are working, maybe they're not.
Lovely. Yeah, I would like to add that the way we're thinking about leadership development more as a systematic intervention for symptomatic issues. That's a kind of my philosophy personally is you're going to have issues happening in the workplace every quarter. You're going to have new terminology, new terms, new things that people use, like a quiet exiting, quiet whatever, resignation. You're going to have a lot of things that are happening. And for me, or the way I think about it is think about the underlying systems that we can impact, that as byproducts you can basically impact diversity, equity, and inclusion, new managers. So we think leadership development at Sounding Board is a springboard basically to kind of help tackle those issues. And yeah, and you cannot democratize leadership development without having, you know, technology that is designed in a way to give access to people that historically didn't have access to mentoring or coaching or any learning, a leadership development intervention, personalized one. So there's a slide that we didn't show, but it's like the evolution of mentoring. And today's mentoring is so different from 10 years ago, so different from the 1970s, where today is a scalable, personalized, and dynamic, and driven by behavioral science, learning design, and technology. So yeah, that's kind of how we're thinking about it. How's your matching different, and what goes into it, and how does it impact the mentorship?
I mean, we could both answer this one, yeah. I mean, the cool thing about our matching, it is a combination of behavioral science and technology, but essentially, like I alluded to during the kind of onboarding talk, is that as a part of the general account creation and onboarding within the platform, we ask all users to take a work style assessment. It's the same work style assessment you might take if you're doing mentoring, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, because although it does ask you some things regarding, coaching in general, it's mostly about leadership development, right? And so we take those inputs, and also all coaches and mentors, all users, like I said, take it. So we use that, run it through a proprietary algorithm that will then generate what we think is the best match for you based on those inputs, as well as several others. We've had great success with it. I don't know if we have the numbers to share, but I know that when it comes to matching, we found that it's been very successful with matching users with, coaches or mentors or leaders that they like and they have long lasting valuable engagements with. So I don't know if you have any other color you want to add to the why behind the matching EOD.
What we think about matching, I agree. We don't think about matching in a transactional way. It's like matching people on a very visible demographics. We think about it from the underlying neurodiversity perspective. Back to your point, is I think about it as personality and work styles. To think about it is not too far from each other, but not too close to each other. So there is a kind of some intentionality, and the results are awesome. So we're in the 90% kind of success rate or even more, and the NPS is very 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 positive compared to if you compare our interventions the way we're doing it. The average NPS of learning and development in the workplace today is minus 25, and ours is way in the plus. I can't give you a number. Yeah, 90. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
it's very very high. So yeah. Well, if you're interested to learn more, if you want to know more, please reach out to us, book a demo, and you can learn more about how we are doing, uh, how we are building dynamic leaders, and more about the mentoring module. Thank you so much for your time and reach out. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
And
EOD. It was fun talking with you today. Yeah.
here. All right, awesome.
All right.
All right,
Thanks, everybody.
thank you. All right,
Bye.
bye.